Hey everyone, so today we're going to cover how to copy data from one Excel worksheet to another. So here we have a data set. So let's go ahead and add a sheet. I'll call this data 2. So say we wanted to copy the first 200 rows of column A to our data 2 sheet that we just created. So let's go to our VBA window. I open this by clicking Alt F11. Simultaneously. That's the shortcut. So let's go ahead and insert a module here. You can rename your module whatever you want. So we can call it data copy. Okay. So just naming this data to sheet. Okay, so first what we want to do is tell Excel where the data is. So I'll start off by saying sheets data 1, that's where we want to copy from. You could also say worksheets instead, but sheets is just a little shorter. So we'll say data 1, the range will be A2 to A201. That'll allow us to copy the first 200 rows of data, not counting the header. So we'll just say dot copy. Now if you ran it here, what it would do is it would literally copy the data and you would then just have it to your clipboard. But if you wanted to paste it in our sheets too, what you could do, I'm copying and pasting so that it's a little faster, but all you really have to do is now tell Excel where you want to paste the data. So here you've told Excel to copy the first 200 rows from A2 to A201, and here you're telling it where to paste it. Okay, so if you run it now, it will go ahead and copy the first 200 rows from here to here. As you can see, it's done that. Let me add a couple of headers here so it looks a little better. You could copy and paste these as well, or you might already have a sheet that already has headers on it. So if I go all the way down, you'll see that it copied all the way to 201. Okay, but now say we didn't want it on the same column because we want to paste it on a different column. So this is as simple as changing the column where you want to paste. You can also paste it to a different row, for example. So if I go ahead and run that, now you'll see that it's on column E and it pasted it on column E5. So if you happen to have other information in these first 3 rows, that's not a problem for VBA. You can copy it directly. Now, say this was a different format and you also wanted to copy the formats, and it doesn't matter that the formats is user selected. It might be one of the formats that you've added using conditional formatting. Everything can be copied as well using VBA. So if I were to want to copy that, what we could also do is say we could copy sheets, the same row, but if we wanted to copy the formats, we could do something like dot paste special, and then we could say Excel paste formats. So now you're telling it to copy this, but you're only telling it to paste the formats. So if I were to copy to F, run that, now I have formatted column F, right? So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. We could do E, and it will format what we had previously copied, right? All the way to the last row. Okay. You could also add something like formulas, if you had formulas and you wanted to copy the formulas. Now remember, if you had formulas and you copied, say, A2 to A200, and then you pasted it in a different column and a different cell, Excel would automatically move it so that it is now referring to the columns that would be referring if you were to have copied the same formulas and pasted formulas. So because the cells that are referenced within the formulas change, it will also change even if you paste them in VBA. Unless, of course, you've used the typical $sign to keep the referenced cell the same. Okay. Now something else you might want to do is you might want to transpose the data. So say you had, for example, some data in column A. So let's just copy, the first 5 cells. So from A2 to A6, but you wanted to copy those and paste them transposed. You could also do that. So let's say that we want to copy A2 to A6 to data 2 range A2, or let's just do A1, and we want to copy these. We could do something like paste formats just to keep this going, and then you can add other conditions, like what operations you want. You can add whether you want to skip blanks or not. So I'm going to go ahead and just say no to these, but I'm adding them here in case you want to use these. And then we also have transpose. So these are the most common. So for this one, I'll go ahead and set that to true. Okay, so now I'm telling it to copy A2 to A6 and paste A2 to A6 on A1. I want it to paste only the formats, however, and I don't want to skip blanks. I don't want to add any fancy operations. I don't want to but I do want to transpose. So now let's see what this does. So this would have copied, that's exactly what it did. So it copied from A2 on this other one. The formats of A2, you can see that it's still selected where it copied it. So that's what you would do. You could also copy data the same way, where you could say, transpose equals true. What else? Something else that I want to show you is, for example, if you had already set your range of data and it was dynamic in some way, you could also do that. So for example, if we did, so dim data 1 as a worksheet, data 2 as worksheet. We might have also had, let's say, range 1, set that as a range, set RD2 as a range as well. I missed the space. Okay. So if you already had a range, this RD range that you were already referring to previously, you could also use it to copy data to that range. So for example, say we had, I need to tell it what data 1 is. So I'll set data 1 equal to sheets data 1. I'll set the same thing. I'll just copy it to make this a little easier. So set data 2 equal to sheets data 2. So what I'll do now is I'll also set RD, for example, equal to SD, data 1 dot range, and we'll set this range as A2 to A201. We will set RD2 as well. So RD2 can be data2.range, and it'll be, let's call this D2, which is one that we haven't used, and that way we can see. So if you had these ranges of data already set, you could do something like rd.copy, and you could copy it directly to 2. So this line does exactly everything that we previously did. So if I go ahead and run that, we should see that it now copied it to D. And if you go all the way down, it copied all the way to row 201. Notice that here we didn't have to say Excel paste formats because it was already formatted. So if it's a simple copy paste, however, if you do a paste special, it will always paste it without formats unless the paste special is an Excel paste format. So if instead you had done something like rd2.paste special and you did paste formulas, then in this case, if we change this to C, so now you're telling it to copy RD, which is equal to data1 range A2 to 201, and then paste formulas to R2, which is just C2. In this case, it won't copy the formats because you're asking it to copy only the formulas. So if I do this, we can see that it's copied this range and it pasted it to C. Now, if you want it to then paste the formats as well, you would add another line of code that just said paste. Paste formats. So if we did, we could change this to G, running out of columns here. So now we can see that it pasted the data and also the formats. All right, so hope that helps. Of course, you guys can always expand the ranges, so it doesn't have to be just column A to column G. It could also be, several columns, and you could also just have a range. If you were to want to paste one range into another range, the ranges, I think Excel wants those to be the same size. So you could paste this to H5 through how many ever columns G is. It would be like H5 through like L206 or whatever it might be, or 200 and whatever. It will ask for the range to be the same size, but you could also do it this way where you just set the range. It could be a larger range, not just one column, and you could set the range where you want to copy it to be some other range. So if we go select that, you'll see that it copied the entire range that we gave it, A2 to G201, and it pasted it on H. And here as well, we can see what happened on column D. So it copied the format of this and pasted it there. Same thing. Okay. So anyway, that's how you copy data. That's, copying formulas, copying formats, transposing. Hope it helps. And let me know what else you want to know.